Here's a rare Harley Davidson. You won't see a Sturgis every year, if ever. Super, super rare. 50-year-old two-stroke Harley Davidsons. A lot of people don't even know these things existed. Made by Harley Davidson in their AMF factory over in Italy by the Armacchi airplane manufacturer. So a lot of the technology they had back then was, and the processes for building motorcycles were, maybe they were overqualified, let's put it that way. And they use a lot of good components. They're building airplanes, and they got into building motorcycles, and they did a great job. They built these with Marzocchi forks, Dell'Orto carbs, little 90cc two-stroke ripper. Everything works on this bike, the high beam, low beam, the horn, the headlight, the tail light. And check out the speedometer, man. This has got to be one of the coolest classic speedometers I've seen. It's like a little piece of jewelry. It's like brand new. 706.5 original miles, and it's out of the 50-year-old 90 stay this nice. Well, here's another example of the owner that owned these bikes. This was his 90cc, aka the Shortster, and his other 90, he had two 125s and a 175 and another Indian Mini. And the common denominator is they were all really low mileage, original, stunning classics. This one came to us fresh out of his collection, had been sitting in storage for over 10 years, so we went right through it. Took the fuel tank off, bicarbonate sodium blasted the inside of the tank, rebuilt the fuel petcocks. You can see it has new fuel lines and fuel filters on there. Rebuilt the carburetor, rebuilt and cleaned the air box, and put a new air filter in it. I do have the work order here. I'll probably read off of this because I don't want to forget everything that was done to it. But it was a pretty extensive work order. New battery, of course. You can see it's got the brand new battery on there. New battery strap and battery cover. I'm leading off the parts list. When I read the work order, it'll probably go a little smoother. Okay, he pulled the front wheel, greased the bearings, wheel bearings, went through the speedo drive, made sure that was working properly. And by the way, the speedo, I was doing 45 miles an hour. It was pretty much cranking down the road there. It's pretty fast for a small bike like this, and it had plenty more to go. I don't know what the top speed is, but there was plenty left to go at 45. So he lubed the brake drum arm, pulled the rear wheel, greased the rear wheel bearings, greased the rear brake mechanism, and cleaned it. Cleaned the sprocket, installed a new chain, pulled the carb, cleaned it, dismantled it, inspected it, and rebuilt it with stock jetting. Cleaned and checked the air filter, rebuilt the oil pump mechanism, filled the oil tank with Bel-Ray two-stroke injector oil, installed a new BR80S spark plug, drained the gearbox oil, filled that with Spectro 1040 with a new crush washer. The turn signals weren't working, so he rebuilt the turn signal switch and rebuilt all 4 turn signals individually. Made new positive leads and grounds where necessary. Filled, charged, and installed the new Parts Unlimited 12N7 3B battery. Rebuilt the front brake mechanism. Pulled and lubed the cable. Installed the new speedo drive mechanism. Pulled the front end. Changed the fork oil fluid. Set the tire pressure at 32 psi front and rear to ensure all electronics are working. And as you can see, if you zoom in here on this tag right here, you'll see this is an original Pirelli tire that it left the factory with the original date code of 422 on there. So original Pirelli tires, front and rear. All original components, all original cycle parts, original factory paint. This is unretouched original factory paint job. We did put Carnauba paste wax on here and then sealed it with New Coat, which is a polymer wax that Lars Anderson Mazam turned us onto some years ago. We use it on all of our bikes now. It's wonderful. I use it on my new bikes too. So once the mechanic was done with it, went down to the detail shop. Carlos worked his magic on it. He repainted the fork lowers, as you can see, polished the front fender, cleaned the front rim and spokes, repainted the engine case covers on this side here. You can see this whole engine case cover. He repainted in the original factory shade. It's original paint on the frame. He did not paint the frame on this one or the swing arm. That's original. Just remarkable condition for a 50-year-old classic. The rear wheel was cleaned on, the chrome was polished. The rear fender, the stainless rear fender was polished. He repainted the taillight shroud right here. You can see made in Italy on there. And we put one of our Kaplan Cycles vanity plates on it. That goes with it. The exhaust system was repainted. You can see it has the original Harley Davidson Motor Company exhaust and heat shield on here. And The engine cover on this side right here was polished. The aluminum was polished, and then it was painted. So original Harley Davidson foot pegs. We did put a brand new gold chain on there, as you can see. Brand new gold chain. Kind of dressed it up a little bit, but this side of the fuel tank is just gorgeous. It's all original factory paint on the tank, original seat, all the chrome, all the cycle parts are original. 15 hours in a detail shop, 30 hours in the service shop, so 45 hours of shop labor. Well, if we build it at our normal rate of $150 an hour, would probably be more than the bike is worth, plus the parts. So I often look at these as a labor of love. It's part of my duty here is to restore these classic motorcycles, and I feel like it's my duty to restore these. That's what we do. We restore classic bikes and bring them to their former glory. And anytime somebody turns me on to their private collection like this one right here, it's easy to see. You can get carried away. 45 hours of shop labor, but it was done right. Everything works beautifully, and it runs like brand new. So they're just so rare. I've been doing this, buying and selling motorcycles since 1980, when I was 15 years old. I had a shop in my mom's house, and I'd have 10, 15 bikes in the garage. I think 17 was my record, a 2-car garage. And I've been doing this my whole life. And even back then, even in the 80s, to find one of these in this kind of condition, guys would get them and run the wheels off of them. They called it, Harley Davidson dubbed this the Freedom Machine. A lot of young guys would buy them with the money they made working washing dishes or whatever they did, mowing lawns, and they'd run the wheels off of them. And who knew they'd be a collector's item years later? But most of the museums I've gone to have an AMF Mini in them. Of course, the Harley Davidson Museum and the big shops like Bruce Rossemeyer's Destination Daytona. It's just a cool classic piece that if you go to any shop that's into the history of Harley Davidson, this is a big part of it. So we've got this one, I've got the Shortster, I've got the other Z90, and we've got 2 125s. The whole collection's going up for sale. We ship these cross country, so with shipping and labor, we've got a pretty big investment in them. We won't be giving them away, but if you're looking for, or have ever been looking for, a pristine original, this is I wouldn't call this a restoration. I'd call this more of a preservation service. So if you want to buy this bike, give us a call, 860-454-7024. We can ship this anywhere in the country. We offer financing through Freedom Road, and we do take trade-ins. So I don't think there's another lower mileage example in the United States of America today. I haven't seen any, certainly, and it just had its birthday, 50 years old, so it's safe to say you won't see too many of these in this kind of condition. Original paint on the tank still looks beautiful. The original decals and badges are all intact, and it looks awesome. So if you've been thinking to get one, this one will be gone. These classics like this don't stick around soon, so don't snooze on it. Thanks for watching, and God bless America.